Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of At the Pump. Brian, what's going on, man?
Not much. Another day. I'm excited to get in the booth and talk about some cars.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to go over a certain price category, and we'll call it drivetrain, I guess, like front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and just see which car you would buy if you had a certain budget and you had to buy that type of car.
Absolutely. So we put out a post on Instagram a couple days ago, and we got a request to do all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and they set 3 price points. So 35 grand, 60 grand, and 250 grand. So this will be fun. And to preface this, Brian and I both haven't seen each other's answers. So we might make fun of one of it, either make fun of me or make fun of you, whatever it is. So we'll dive into it a little bit because it's actually harder to do than you think because there's so many options out there.
Well, it was narrowing it down to what you wanted with that budget. And then honestly, I'm going to talk about one category I struggled to find a car to put in there. So we can go. I'm interested to see what you have in that slot as well. So we'll get to that in a few minutes.
Okay. Let's dive into it. So we're starting with 35 grand. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a new car. It can be how you want to spend your 35 grand.
Right.
So we're not talking about, hey, go buy a $2,000 Civic and throw in all this money to have a crazy horsepower car. I mean, if that's what you want to do, cool. But that's not quite what we're doing. We're just doing, if Brian or myself had a price point, call it 35 grand, this is what we're going to choose. It could be new, could be used, but let's dive into it. So 35 grand, we're going to start with front wheel drive. Go, Brian.
I picked the Honda Civic Type-R, which I believe is probably the most popular front-wheel drive platform in the new tuner culture type stuff. As if you guys have been following along, I've owned, I think, 5 or 6 Hondas and Acuras throughout my life. So
you're a fanboy.
If I was stuck in that price point, trying to get something fun, it's a great platform. It's fun to drive. I think they look good. And I think you're getting a hell of a value for bang for the buck in that Honda Civic Type-R.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome car. I haven't driven one. I have some buddies that have them. It disrupted the STI market. The what would be Evo, Focus RS,
absolutely
all that stuff, right? Yeah. So, from what I understand, and again, I haven't driven it, the front wheel drive tendencies of that car is to drive much more like an all wheel drive car. It's zero torque steer. I heard it's an awesome platform.
Yeah, handles really well, good balance. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the look? Because it's pretty Transformer-ish.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, so one of the things, at least in this category, I'm going for kind of performance and a fun factor here when I'm throwing my money down. And for front wheel drive, that's kind of the best you can get. Looks was definitely on the bottom end of my list as far as criteria or something that I thought was really important. They look good. Does it look like they copied a bunch of other stuff and mashed it all together a little bit? But I mean, it's a tuner hot hatch. You can only do so much.
You're right. It's aggressive. I mean, I think there's a spoiler on the side view mirrors of that car.
You know what I mean? Diffusers everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So Civic Type-R.
What do you have?
So I, believe it or not, I actually chose the same thing.
Okay.
I did. Yeah. I chose the Civic Type-R. And really, I mean, if you 35 grand front wheel drive, I mean, there's not many cars for you to choose, right?
That was my kind of point. That was the first thing that popped in my head.
Me too.
Ultimate Honda kind of Civic platform. That's what you're doing.
I like the interior. I don't mind the look. It's first it was wow. I mean, that's really aggressive. That's over the top, but they're selling a ton of them. I think it's a great platform. The reviews are great. They sound good. Yeah. So I chose the Civic Type-R. The other thing that was on my mind too was just a Mark 7 GTI, which is a great platform, a lot more refined, less boy racer, a little more grown up.
Yeah, less fun factor, more not luxury, but more classy.
Yeah. So that's what I chose.
Okay. So we're kind of on the same there. What about all-wheel drive? What are you picking?
So I went for a curveball here. So the all-wheel drive on a 35 grand, I went with the Audi B7 Rs4 Quattro.
Okay.
So and again, that's it's less than 35 grand. I'm sure you can find some real low mile variants of this car.
Sure.
But 4.2 liter V8, Audi Quattro, 6-speed, same motor that's in the R8, just a doesn't have the dry sump like the R8 does. But dude, it's such a badass car.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the looks of it. It was super wide and flared. I mean, tell me where else you can find in this price point, 6-speed manual, V8, 420 horsepower.
Yeah.
And all-wheel drive.
Yeah. Very valid points.
You know, so I'm sticking with my roots. I'm going with Audi Rs4.
Okay. I mean, all-wheel drive in the 30s. Can we guess? I'm gonna pick a Subaru WRX STI.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of standard. But yet again, I think for the bang for the buck you're getting, that's the best platform. That's what I'm looking to do. Looks good. It's fun to drive. Very responsive and like good feedback to the driver. So
Like my blue one.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you're sticking with Subaru.
Yeah. I'm pretty much for that price. You've got to stay in the JDM tuner world. You know.
Yeah.
It's tough to venture away from that. So rear wheel drive, what are you sitting on?
So 35 grand. This came directly to my mind, and there's so many options. I chose the C6 Z06 Corvette.
Okay.
So I know you and I have talked about this. We both like that car.
Yep.
7-liter, all aluminum V8. I mean, it's got I think 500 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just it's a cool car. It's crazy muscle car for the price point.
Absolutely. And you're talking like a mid 2000s. The C6 was like 2006 to 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think
maybe,
so.
Something
Yeah,
in there. So it would be a used car, but bang for the buck. Yeah. 500 horsepower
cool.
V8 Corvette. Like you're getting some performance there.
Give me my jean shorts and my New Balance.
Yeah.
My In-N-Out shirt. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I hear you. So this is where I kind of skewed the JDM fanboy thing. I mean, granted, there's not many rear-wheel drive cars that Japanese manufacturers make. And I flipped it over to the Euro side and went with a BMW M3 in E92 chassis or body style. Okay. So it would be a used car. I would prefer one in a 6-speed, but not too picky. But yeah, I would go with a mid-2000s E92 M3.
Those cars not only look good, they sound amazing.
They sound great. Yeah.
I mean, they rev to like 8,000 RPMs.
8,000, yeah.
I mean, that's the muscle car from Germany. Of that era.
Yeah.
You know, but that's another great platform. I mean, there's nothing you can say bad about that.
Right. And you can definitely find those in that 35 and under price range.
You can.
So,
and you know, those prices are starting to kind of either go up a little bit, level off, go up a little bit. So
yeah.
Clean examples in the right transmission, maybe the right options are
maybe around that 35,
yeah.
Maybe low mile, like bring a trailer type stuff could be in the 40s, but doubtful.
Yeah.
And then you'd have something with 100,000 miles that's probably like 20 grand.
Yeah, or less.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think there were some maintenance issues on those cars that need to be done. But dude, they're sick.
Yeah.
I can't fault
I mean,
you
an
for
M3, it's like the ultimate driving experience, right?
Absolutely.
That's their motto. The
Yeah.
M3 is their classic benchmark performance sedan or performance coupe. So that's what I'm buying.
It's a sick car.
Yeah.
All right. So that was 35 grand. That was easy. Relatively easy.
Somewhat.
It's hard as car people because I could tell you there's 5 or 6 in each category under 35 that I'd love to have.
Yeah. It was tough to narrow some of those down, but it was like, I'm going to go with this. Like front wheel drive, all wheel drive, those were easy for me.
Yeah.
So that 60,000 range was totally different. A front wheel drive car for 60 grand. I'm going through my mind trying to think of like, oh, what's better than the Civic Type-R for performance wise? Like I'm still geared, fun factor, driving experience. Not a zip, zilch, nothing, right?
Well, it's hard.
60 grand, I'm coming out with a Lincoln Continental sedan, like Matthew McConaughey commercials, really comfortable, really classy.
You aged just sitting here.
Yeah, no, I know. So we'll just throw the whole performance driver experience out of the window, and I'm going with like a business sedan, like something you'd roll up to a board meeting with.
Low key, the new Lincolns are awesome though.
They look really nice.
The new Navigator.
Yeah.
The seats in that thing are crazy.
Super comfortable.
Yeah,
massage, cooled
everything.
seats. Yeah.
It's a really cool car. So I'm sure the Continental is great. you know, but you're right. It is hard to find a car in this price point that's like, oh, cool. Like,
Yeah.
would you take that to a car show? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Park at Chili's and walk over.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's hard. So for me, front wheel drive, 60 grand. This company came out of nowhere. They used to be very popular in their older cars. Kind of missed the mark in the last decade, and then came back with some really cool stuff. I'm going Volvo.
Okay.
I'm going Volvo.
You had me lost there for a second.
I know. Just bear with me. Volvo V60 R design. Now that's their wagon.
Okay.
That is, it's not the highest horsepower car. It's front wheel drive, right about 60 grand. Dude, the thing looks insane. I can just picture that car with some wheels or an air suspension, just as like the ultimate like estate saloon car.
Absolutely.
That's a wagon.
Yeah.
You know, they were huge back in the day in their wagons. They're kind of squared off. They had a whole racing division of those cars. I think it was the V7 Rs or something like that. They had a sedan and then a wagon, and they were turbo, inline 5 turbo. But this new one, I got to go with the new, ever since the Pulsar came out, which kind of has the same design structure as what Volvo's doing, I got to go with that new wagon.
Okay. No, that's
Was that a
very good
curveball
pick.
for you?
It was definitely a curveball. When you started saying
Me and
the
my
stuff
8
about
children.
the brand, I didn't know where you were going with this. Like Alfa Romeo or something overseas. Anyway, rear wheel drive.
Yeah, what's
in
your
that
what's your
60,000
rear wheel
category?
drive?
I'm going straight fun factor. This is immediately where my mind jumps. Rear wheel drive, 60 grand. I'm getting the cleanest Dodge Viper SRT 10 that I can. It's probably going to be in early 2000s. I don't think you can find one that's newer for that price point, but yeah, early 2000s Dodge Viper. Bring it on.
All right. So your cost of gas just went up.
Yeah.
The tire cost.
Smiles per gallon.
Right. As long as you can keep it pointed straight. That's the problem.
That's the other, yeah.
And no, it's a cool car.
So that rear wheel drive, 6-speed, get me in that Viper.
All right, buddy. All right. So, rear wheel drive, 60 grand. I was torn between two cars, but I'm going to give you the one that's off the top of my head that I've always liked, and I think it's a cool car because you don't see them near as much as others. Okay. I got to go the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio.
Oh, geez. Did you hear what he said? I don't even.
That's right. You said it earlier. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
I'm going with the Giulia. I think that is such a sick looking car.
That's the sedan?
That's the sedan.
Turbo.
Yeah.
Okay.
The kind of M3 killer, so to speak.
They do look really good.
They look good. Twin turbo V6, 505 horsepower. I like the factor that you don't see them at every street light. You
Super
rarely see
unique,
them, right?
Yeah.
So as long as I can get parts for them and as long as they're reliable, I'm cool. I don't know if the fit and finish is there on the Alfa Romeos, but I think as a driver's car, every review I've ever watched or
it's solid.
Yeah, exactly. Or read is awesome. The other one I'm torn with too is the C63S from Mercedes. So sedan, coupe, whatever you want to do. I mean, you got your 4-liter twin turbo V8, incredible AMG sound, but I'm sticking with my Alfa Romeo.
Okay. That was a little bit of a curveball.
Yep.
All-wheel
I'm
drive.
not embarrassed about it.
For $60K.
I have to go with the Audi Rs3. Audi Rs3 or TT-RS. So these cars are not only stupid quick,
Insanely
they handle
fast.
great.
Yeah.
I say RS3 or TT-RS because they share the exact same motor. It's just a matter if you want a smaller 2-door coupe or if you want a sedan.
Would you classify that as like a compact sedan? Those are pretty small.
It's small.
Like if you and I are driving, no one's sitting behind
Probably
us.
not.
Yeah.
No, but that's okay. And I would go one of those cars. I mean, the tuning potential of that car, you know, put down pipes and a tune. I mean, your supercar status. It's supercar status already out of the gate.
Yeah.
As far as acceleration, as far as performance
Yeah.
goes. But I got to stick with the inner Audi in me. I got to go Audi RS3 or TT-RS.
Okay. For 60 grand all-wheel drive, if you pick something other than a Nissan R35 GTR, I don't know what is going in your brain, right? Like, come on.
It is a good car. Performance
a
is
used
there.
GTR for 60 grand, like bang for the buck. Hello.
Yeah, but then you go to hit your like radio on button and you push the button directly through the dash and all your plastics is starting to fall out. So
I hear you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a great car. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's like what 09 era you can probably find in that price range.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You can get somewhat of, I mean, they're even touching like 50, to be honest. You can get like a decently not beat up or highly modded and abused one for 60 grand. in probably every city in America.
You can't argue the performance of that car.
Right.
You
Is it a luxury car? Not really.
no, it doesn't have to
So
be.
I'm okay with the minor fit and finishes that are still a little Japanese manufactured, we'll say, not extremely classy or high level materials. And I'm looking for the fun factor. I'm going to be smiling, grinning out the window. You know, that thing's great.
All right. So here's where things got a little difficult. So 250 grand. We gotta take.
We just had to eliminate the front wheel drive
you gotta
category
take it out.
because I don't even know a manufacturer that makes a front wheel drive car
No.
that's that expensive.
And if you're spending that money, you're not getting a front wheel drive
Right.
car. I mean, yeah, someone's gonna go, oh, you can go buy a Civic and put all this motor work and this and that.
Right.
And, you know, cool. Like,
Right.
but for 250 grand, we've eliminated the front wheel drive category out of this because
Yeah.
it doesn't exist. And if it does and we don't catch it, please let us know in the comments because I can't think of one.
Yeah, seriously. If there's some foreign country that's got a small boutique, you know, supercar or hypercar type build going on that's front wheel drive, like please let us know. My brain, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's even. I struggled in the $60,000 category to get a front wheel
you chose
drive
a Lincoln.
car. Yeah.
You did have a hard time with that. Okay, so 250 grand, Brian. All-wheel drive, 250 grand in your pocket.
All-wheel drive, I've got to go with an Audi R8 V10 Plus, just because somewhat that we've alluded to is we're both 6'3", 6'4", so that's the tall person's, Lamborghini, in my opinion.
It's true.
So an Audi all-wheel drive, that V10 Plus is super comfy, super fast, great platform for, you can daily it. It's not really a daily car, but some people do who can afford that. Something you could take to work every day, go to a car show, drive it up the mountain roads in the weekend, take it to a track if you wanted to with some sticky tires on it, and dude, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I think that's the platform for me. For
I can't
sure.
fault you for that because that is such a sick looking car.
Yeah.
It's a lot of value. You're looking at a brand new one at that price point,
Right.
and saving a little bit, and
Right.
go have some fun right out of the box and have a warranty.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not far behind you on the all-wheel drive, 250 grand because I got to go Lamborghini Huracan Performante.
Okay.
That car, from personal experience, is about as raw and about as sporty as you can ever imagine behind the wheel of a car.
Sure.
With all the active aero that car has, all the carbon fiber, the exhaust, just the drivetrain, the way things sound and behave, there's no question. I don't care if I'm sitting like this,
You're
driving the car.
Yeah.
The wheels on my belly button because it's meant for people that are 5'7". I don't know why Italy thinks everyone's 5'7".
Yeah. Well, they built it for them. Historically, race car drivers are somewhat smaller, like a jockey for a horse. So
That's true.
they're building cars for their race teams, and their race drivers are, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. If there's some Lamborghini driver that's got a bunch of wins and he's 6'5", please let me know. But
Yeah.
I don't think there is.
Poke a hole in the roof and put his visor down on his helmet. But yeah, no, I got to go Performante on this one.
Strictly performance and fun factor.
Yeah, in look and just exclusivity. It's a limited production car off the regular Huracan.
That's true.
New, they're north of 300 grand. The Spider variants are more expensive, but you can find a pre-owned one right around that 250 mark and have a blast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's where I'm going.
So then the rear wheel drive.
Yep.
In that 250 range, what's your choice?
My ultimate dream car. I didn't even question this. I saw that and I wrote it down. Porsche 911 Gt3 Rs. Is that what you chose?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. We are friends.
I mean, it's a driver's car, and if you're spending money,
oh my God,
Porsche's got to have one of the best heritage for like a true enthusiast culture, true enthusiast feel, and everything.
You don't want to know the things I would do to have one of those in my garage right now. I mean, just to be, it is such a cool car. The sound, the motor, the look. I think they look sick.
Yeah, I think they look amazing. I think they sound great. Every time I've seen one at a Cars and Coffee here locally in Scottsdale and stuff, you're just speechless as it drives by.
Yeah.
It's like literally art in motion.
You put an exhaust on that thing and it's just like, it melts me.
Yeah.
Just take me home.
Yeah.
Just take me home. But yeah, that's funny that you chose that because I didn't think that you would choose something like that. But I'm proud of you.
I'm just trying
You've
to
come a
think.
long way.
I was trying to think of other like rear-wheel drive driver's car, and like you said, immediately nothing else really flew in my mind there and jumped out like, "Hey, pick me."
Yeah.
If you were to have another one that was sneaking up there with that,
You can
what would you think?
stretch. If you can find one, maybe a little bit more miles, Ferrari 488 coupe, you can save yourself a lot of money and go buy a 458, which I think is one of the collectible cars now. That's the last of the naturally aspirated V8s from Ferrari.
Okay.
That is a cool car. So
Yeah.
that you can have all day long and keep some money
Yeah.
in your bank, in your pocket.
But that Porsche is second to none in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think the number of sales, I remember when they first came out, there was a crazy premium for buying those for the dealerships that did have them available or in stock. And
Way over sticker.
yeah, if you are a true driver's person, you're an enthusiast who wants that feel and the experience. I don't think you're getting a better one for 250.
No.
250 grand.
Putting the hammer down, that is the car. For
Yeah.
250 grand.
And it's handles well. It's not like a straight line missile. It's not some uber expensive luxury car that you're not going to want to drive. That's meant to put the gas down and throw it into a corner and, have some fun with it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for listening. This was a fun one to do. It was a good suggestion, and we really appreciate you guys putting your thoughts and comments into that because we want to kind of get an idea as to what you guys would like to see. And this was a really cool topic. It was harder to do than I thought. I mean, I was on this for like an hour before this trying to figure out what to do because there's so many options available to you. But we appreciate your guys' comments on this and hope you guys like the video. If you continue to like what we're doing, please like and subscribe on YouTube. But for our audio listeners, we're available on iTunes. We're available on Spotify, Google Play, Anchor, all sorts of stuff. So, but keep an eye out for some future videos. We also have some videos coming that are more how-to. We're going to kind of dive into, this is our podcast segment, but we're going to dive into maybe some how-to videos on how to do some things that we can provide value and help you guys maybe on your current project with your cars and things like that. So, but guys, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Looking forward to hearing from you guys soon and catch us in the next video.